And now to start my English language lessons again. So it will be always difficult for me for a few days, then a little bit better after that time. But there's not much room to be developed because basically my English, the vocabulary is very much limited, and those who I know, I don't use it in Europe. So therefore I can't remember, I don't remember all this and at once, whenever I need. So however, it is a great pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for invitation and your interest to work with you. I think this is my 10th visit to Singapore, and actually more or less right from the beginning we met together and we worked together. And in between I also suggested you that you also need not only listen to teachings, but you also need to practice by yourself and organize another teaching programs by the other Rinpoches or Geshes, whoever, or anyway, teachers. And not only that, but you also need to meet continuously on a weekly basis or whatever, and need to discuss. So these things need to be done, and it's also established. I'm very, very happy of this development. It's not at all easy to get into the proper Dhamma practice. It is a difficulty than some kind of learn language, such as Chinese language for us, those who are not Chinese speaker, because you need to practice every day, and you must keep in touch with such as Chinese language. Otherwise, it will be very easily forgotten. So the Dhamma teaching is even more difficult, I think, because it's something to do with your, more or less I can say, you need to fight with your mind. Not taking care of your mind is actually most easiest way. Taking care of your mind is very difficult because we got used to it, to run after some kind of wrong thoughts or wrong concepts or perceptions. So these wrong thoughts just coming without problem, and then we just follow after that. So therefore this is the most easy way, but it's most harmful. So in order to overcome these problems, you need to be you need to be very taking care and on guard. So whenever it appears some wrong thoughts, you must get ready to be there. If you don't realize, if you couldn't notice which is the wrong thoughts and which is the correct thoughts, so then it will be rather difficult. We must be in the position at any time to fight with our wrong thoughts, and we must break through certain very strong fence through the conceptions. So if you pass this fence, So then it will be easier for all of us. And our mind will be much softer. So therefore we'll be able to practice whenever we would like to concentrate on a certain subject, such as bodhicitta, such as emptiness, or whatever. As I always emphasize, that our main practice, or Dhamma practice, is not to be understood, the formal ritual or formal practice, but daily behaviors, daily way of thinking, way of conduct. All these are Dhamma practice, or better to say, can be good Dhamma practice. At the beginning, we all have some kind of attitude. Dhamma practice is some kind of artificial or strange. But through the practice, through the learning by doing, so we will get used to it, and at the end, Dhamma practice will be included in our daily life. So that means the way according to Dhamma, to live the way according to Dhamma, is need to be a part of our daily life. Kadamba Masters talking about the mixing Dhamma with your mind. So that means if you practice properly and continuously, so then there's no gap between Dhamma and Dhamma practice and your own individual life. Whatever you're doing the Dhamma way. Whatever you're thinking according to Dhamma. Whatever you or however you're speaking according to Dhamma. So this time we choose as the first teaching Bodhisattva's jewel Garland, which is more or less written by Adisha. I have some reason why I'm talking about more or less Adisha, so we'll discuss later. So however, this is very, very important, actually basic, one of the basic Kadampa's teaching. This teaching is very much based on daily life, and it's a very, how should I say, very sharp, explained or very sharp, and it's also very useful. So therefore I always explain my students in Europe that they should put this text in their kitchen or wherever you go past every day. And there's 26 verses, I think. And therefore, yeah, that's right, 26 verses. So therefore, sometimes you can cut verse by verse and put in your pocket or whatever for a few days or a few weeks or whatever, so that you can check it again and again. So however, for instance, one verse for 2 weeks, put somewhere in your wall, and every day, every time, just read very shortly, in short time. So then at the end, you will be very much familiar, and you can also recite by heart. Actually, it's good to change every day one verse. So that means in 26 weeks, within 26 weeks, you be able to recite without having text, and you can learn by heart. And then according to, you will understand the meaning accordingly. The Kadampa, there are 2 volumes of Kadampa literature, and so-called Pashu and Puchu, Father Dharma and Son Dharma. This meaning is, in that case, Father is not the Atisha, but Dro-Phen. Dro-Phen is immediately after the Atisha, who is really original master of Kadampa. So therefore, regarding, all dharmas which comes about him, which comes about Dro-Phen, which comes through the Dro-Phen. This is the Father Dharma. And Son Dharma is 2 Dro-Phen's disciples ask Atisha about the Dro-Phen, and he explained some reincarnation, right? Am I right? Pre-reincarnations. Dro-Phen's previous lives. So this will be, these are the Son Dharma. So however, 2 volumes. I think we discussed already about Atisha's visit to Tibet, and sometime during my last visit. But however, he was invited by the Tibetan kings, and according to their invitation, he follows, and he came to Tibet. And he said that his visit was very useful, also to meet Dro-Phen. Even if he didn't give any other teachings to Tibet, but meet Dro-Phen was beneficial. So, however, one day they sat together and asked Dro-Phen to Atisha regarding many different ways of practice and way of thinking and so on. So during this discussion, or through this discussion, it comes out, these are short texts with 26 verses. Usually people understand these 26 verses as root text, and then commentary, all this discussion between the Dro-Phen and Atisha as regarded as commentary. But if I may check thoroughly, it look like not that way. But first establish all these discussions, communications between the Atisha and Dro-Phen. And after each subject, Dro-Phen made some kind of a summary, such as, if it's so then it's only to be understand homage to the just a moment, homage to the teachers. So that's his kind of summary of Atisha's long explanation. So then later, people put all these summaries together and become as root text. This is my opinion, the way of writing, the way of talking. So, however, name of this text is Bodhisattva's Jewel Garland. So this text is just like many jewel pearls put together, made a garland. So that means they're very precious, many, or let's say 26 precious advices or practice according to the Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva, according to Tibetan terminology, is Jiangju Sempa. There are 4 words. Jiang and Chup and Sam and Ba, they all 4 words have very important meanings. If you explain very shortly, very briefly, so you will understand those persons who are aiming to achieve Buddhahood. This is a short explain. But the real meaning is, Jiang means purification or purify, remove obstacles, remove mental obstacles. Chup means to obtain the good qualities. So through the remove wrong perceptions, wrong thoughts, or bad deeds, whatever, you will obtain good qualities. Those who have great interest to do so, to obtain good qualities, to remove bad qualities or bad thoughts, it is Sampa means either you can understand as positive, or you also can understand by the sense of hero. So those who can, who aiming this practice is hero. So now I need to give Ling this text. So first it appears Indian title, Sanskrit title. It is a tradition to put at the beginning Sanskrit title because of authenticity, to show the authenticity. And then real text is start with homage to the great compassion, and Atisha made, Atisha and Ranthambho, whoever, let's say Atisha made first homage or respect to the great compassion. As you know, we also have many ways to show homage or to show respect before you are starting to write any text, such as homage to Manjushri, homage to Buddhas or all Buddhas or Bodhisattvas or whatever. But here, instead of addressed to any this kind of deities or Buddhas or whatever, but to the compassion. It's very, very important. It's very important because the meaning that we want to achieve is compassion. So therefore it shows us some kind of summary for this text or practice or our goal is the great compassion. Great compassion is actually key point of all Buddhist practice. Not only for our practice, but great compassion is very important at the beginning to enter, before you enter in Dhamma practice, and during your Dhamma practice is also important. At the end, after you enlighten, after you become Buddha, it's also important to have a great compassion. Through the great compassion, or maybe better to say, compassionate way of thinking, introduce us interest, or open us eyes open for interest for the Dhamma. And through this way of thinking, we are really ready to think the benefit of the others and the suffering of others, all these circumstances and situation by you yourself and all others. So therefore it is very important to have a compassionate thought, or compassion, or great compassion at the beginning. If you don't have a great compassion during the practice, you will not go very fast on the way, but you may also, how should I say, can be or come back from the Dhamma in the sense of you maybe fall in normal way of life. At the end, after you achieved Buddhahood, it's also important to have a great compassion, because all Buddha's activities, activities are coming out of the great compassion. So maybe we can say great compassion, don't let the Buddhas sit without action. Madhyamika Avatara text, which is very important text of emptiness, composed by Chandakirti, starts also same as here, homage to the great compassion, and there are many pages of explanation about the great emptiness, great compassion. And the great compassion is at the beginning very important, just like seed, and after this is very important, just like a good earth and good. Now I don't know the name. If you plants, you have some the water, the temperature, and all these things, right? And just like this. As a great important, the great compassion is also important. And at the end, and all Dhammas, all Buddhas get out from the Dhammakaya, go into the Nimanakaya, and take action, Buddha in the sense of Buddha's deed. So therefore, Buddhas are. Buddha is the son of great compassion.
所以呢，这个佛陀呢，诸佛呢，他是这个大悲心哈的这个儿子。
So now Next is homage to the teachers. So this is actually a very simple way, a very simple sentence, But according to Atisha's way of thinking and way of communication about his teachers is very profound. We Tibetans, of course, have great respect to our own teachers, but many of us don't have any idea how many teachers do I have, how many, and which teacher for which Dharma practice, and who is for me very most important, and all this making distinguish is not much established. But all lamas put together, says, let's say I have 32 masters or 20 masters or whatever. We don't have really account about each of the teachers. But Atisha make very much. He takes it very seriously and make very distinguished. I don't remember exactly the way he is counting, but just example, he mentioned I have 6 masters for the Goya Samaja, and I had 10 masters of let's say Lamrim or whatever, and then 2 for sutras, and 20 for the Chakra-sambaras, and 4 masters for the Vajrabhairavaya, and 6 of them are special commentary on Goya Samaja, and all make clarified or distinguished. He also explained and emphasized very much to have proper masters, proper teachers. And after you found teacher, you need to communicate with this teacher proper way, correctly. Teachers are for us the source of good qualities and the fundamental of your own knowledge. So therefore, one need to take very seriously communication with teacher. Atisha has 150 masters, and among the 150, Lama Selingpa is the master who is most important for him among all these teachers.
那阿底峡尊者总共有150位上师，在他的150位上师当中呢，金州大师呢是最重要的一位上师。
Because through Lama Selingpa's help, Atisha obtained Bodhicitta. So therefore, the Bodhicitta is basic practice for Mahayana. So therefore, it is a very special teacher for him. My great master Kyabgön emphasized very often, you need to make clear who is the really main guru among all other main gurus. one or two or three or four can be most important guru than others. But all, such as in this case for the Atisha, 150 masters are also root guru. But among these 150, Selingpa is most outstanding master. So many people ask me regarding this matter, who can be my main guru and root guru and so on. But the answer is not that from whom you receive many teachings is most important, less teachings less important. This is not the correct way of thinking. But those teachers who helped you tremendously in order to change your mind, although you received from her or from him just less teachings, just very few teachings, but she or he is your most important root guru. So after that, Dro-Phen asked him, so now I understand the Lama is very important. But Lamas give many teachings and many practice, and such as, and therefore, what I'm thinking is, we really need to know how far Buddha is important for me, how far Avalokiteshvara is important, because there are so many deities appears in the Buddhist practice. So therefore, I don't know which is important. So then he explained 4 deities are most important. So therefore, he said, homage to the faith divinities. As he said, whatever we practice, it's deal with at the end karma, cause and result. That's right, cause and result. And if you think about the samsara, it's dealing with cause and result. If you think about the free from the sufferings, it's also cause and result. So all together, 4 noble truths, right? And because we have suffering, we are suffering, and because of delusions and wrong deeds, we are suffering. This is one set of cause and condition, according to the samsara. We all have a Buddha nature, therefore it is a possibility, there's a possibility to overcome from this samsara, from the sufferers. So this will also be cause and condition. Cause in the sense of practice the way, and the condition is as a result of this practice, so that means Buddhahood. So these are the 4 noble truths. Noble truth of suffering, noble truth of cause, noble truth of a path, right? Am I right? And noble truth of cessations. These are the 4 noble truths. Noble and truth. Noble in the sense of this way of thinking or this matter, let's say matter, is not any original matter, but it's very advanced, very important, very meaningful. So therefore it's noble. Truth this way of thinking is remain always truth. There's no change. Some from certain way of thinking is true, but other way it cannot be. It may not be true. Not this way, but always from which aspect, which corner you're watching or you're thinking, it always it tells you the truth. So therefore, the only Buddha Shakyamuni explained as proper way, which is connected with Four Noble Truths. Therefore, it is very important to have Buddha as one of the four deity of Kadampa. So this is the first deity. Second deity is the Avalokiteshvara. Third is Green Tara. And the fourth is Blue Achala. So through this, about this rest three deities, maybe we'll explain tomorrow. My lesson's over.
Now we do the question and answer. Okay, now we are open for question and answer. So if you have any questions, you can feel free. Or if you need a paper, Mari will pass the paper to you.
Pay hostage to the faithful deities. These four deities is for only for Kadampa, for all of us.
Once again, please.
What I'm saying, I've seen my English not so good. Well, because you mentioned about I pay homage to the faithful deities, this part is actually these four deities is it only for this Kadampa, or it's actually for all us?
Actually, those who are, it's better to discuss later, but if I may explain very shortly, those who, there's two things. One thing is everybody whoever would like to practice Buddhism, it's actually enough to stick to the four deities. This is the one answer. And another answer is, whenever you have more deities, so at the end, they are direct or indirectly connected any of these four deities. So if you're talking about 30 deities, at the end, there's only four. This is linked very much.
Can Rinpoche explain the cause and condition?
Just a moment, do we need to translate in Chinese or not?
Auntie Annie, you have a question just now?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Can Rinpoche explain more on the cause and condition? Because is it the condition can be greater than the cause? Let's say you have done, let's say, an action. Can the condition be greater than the action?
Well, no. It's a bit complicated because if you're talking about cause, generally speaking, you need also to consider 4 different kinds of causes. So that means each cause have or has linked with three others. So immediate cause for the background and other effects, whatever these influences. So there's many aspects need to be included. From this point of view, I don't think that we can say result can be greater than the cause. But on the other hand, it's really a bit complicated. For instance, we are sitting together, did good thought about the Bodhisattva. Only these 2 hours deed can achieve Buddhahood. But not only this 2 hours work, but many others as well. So you can't say this Buddhahood is only a result of only 2 hours work. But Buddhahood is result of 2 hours. Did you understand what I'm talking? Yes. I will achieve my Buddhahood through the reading this 1 page, but not only this reading. So this makes a little bit difference. Can you explain? Why I'm explaining a little bit complicated way? Because if you think only the reading 2 pages achieve Buddhahood, so then of course there are great difference. But in fact, the achievement of Buddhahood is many other karmas, good deeds, including reading 2 pages. So therefore, from this point of view, then it's not greater. For the 2 pages, from the 2 pages point of view, its result is greater, but generally speaking, it's not greater. Karma has a nature of impermanence, both good and bad karmas. So if we have, I mean, of course we have many. If we are thinking about bad karma, without purification, it will also increase. So therefore, through small bad karma, produce very big result, very big experience because of the increase. And the other way around is the same. But you are going to ask why it's increased, right or not? Right. The reason why. Our mental attitude is not remain same, but it's developed. So if you accumulate one karma, either you are purified or rejoice, makes more and more from minute to minute. So because of this, the nature of impermanence of mind, impermanence of attitude toward to the deeds, make or produce big volume.
Yes. Okay, the next question is, can Rinpoche give a short teaching on the 4 Noble Truths? Thank you.
So if it's last question tonight, do you have more? 听一下。
Okay, Judge delay. Okay, Om Mani Padme Hum, 6 syllables mantra. Can cover over 1,000 deities, and Vajrasattva mantra only can cover 100 deities. Does it mean that six syllables mantra could clear our obstacles faster than Vajrasattva mantra?
I can't make really true judgment. It's a difficult question. But however, it is. Whatever existed. And whatever we are doing remain in framework of interdependence. So that means you can't say you are sitting here and mantras are on the table, and this mantra is more powerful than that, and this was the more produce the quicker result than this, and so on. You can't make this kind of judgment. But at the same time, according to our benefit, according to our interest, according to our whatever, there are many aspects need to be regarded. So therefore, it's appear for us. This mantra is very good for this mantra, that mantra is very good for that, and so on. There are 1,000 explanations. But if I may question, would it be effect according to saying if you practice this way? The answer is big question. There are this kind of explanation. But according to explanation, whether we'll be get or obtain this result or not, this is up to us. So this also cause and condition, and especially signs of interdependency. On the other hand, usually regarded 100 mantras are very special mantra for purification, and such as long life deities mantra, very good for prolongate your lifespan, and so on. But it's of course there are some reason, there are some connections, but the main thing is how do I practice, for which purpose? This is the main answer. For example, if I want to purify, in order to do so, I recite Om Mani Padme Hum. Then this Om Mani Padme Hum is best method. Best method in order to purify my wrong thoughts, or taking refuge, also, right? Or if I would like to accumulate merits, in order to do this, I recite 100-syllable mantra. So in that case, recitation of 100-syllable mantra would not be purification, but accumulation of the merit. someone would like to know about more about Four Noble Truths in 5 minutes. So therefore, I'll explain accordingly. In Buddhism, we are talking about a lot of sufferings, but we are not talking about our some kind of disease or painful joints pain or the working conditions and the wealth problems. All these things, these are not suffering according to. These are suffering, of course, but not this suffering, which causes us tremendously in order to suffer again and again. So that means through the suffering, okay, never mind, we will leave it like this. And therefore, these are the minor problem. Major problem is so that we are reborn without free, getting old without free, and become ill without free, and dying without free. All this is forced through the forced born by a force, and all these four aspects produced falsely. So this condition of force need to be freed. So this condition is the really major suffering. This is the number one. This very difficult condition has not been existed without cause. The cause are wrong thoughts and wrong deeds. Through these two positions, through these two causes, we are suffering. This is samsara. As soon as we are talking about the suffering, we are not thinking this is the endless, this is permanent, it has permanent state of condition, but it's as soon as we start to think about suffering, we are also thinking there is end of suffering, or there's possibility to end of suffering. Because the cause of sufferings are not permanent. They can be changed, they can be removed. These defilements and bad deeds, especially bad defilements, are not nature of our mind, but these are has temporarily position in our mind. This is the second condition. Second noble truth of cause. So number 3, noble truth of path. Now we understand the defilements not nature of my mind, so therefore I can overcome from these defilements. If I in the position to remove defilements from my mind, I would not accumulate bad deeds. But of course, I must apply antidote. I must get into the path, such as Buddhist path. Through this join into the path, to practice the path, is the third noble truth of path. as a result of practice the path, we will develop in our mind. The highermost most development is the Buddhahood. So this is for the noble truth of sensation. So that's all for tonight, and so we need to dedication.